Well, oh, well, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Appreciate you guys hopping in for another Knicks Nation post-game show on this Friday evening. Friday night Knicks didn't show up tonight versus the Minnesota Timberwolves as they lose by a final score of 99-116. The return of Julius Randle in this game. We'll talk about it all. No Karl-Anthony Towns, no Dante DiVincenzo. A lot of stuff to get into tonight, but this Knicks team lost a tough one, and in the fourth quarter they let go. They just 35 points for the Timberwolves in the fourth quarter, 21 for the New York Knicks. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Let's get those likes up. Appreciate you guys joining me here. Come join me in the chat. But that was a tough. That one sucked, man. That one sucked. And look, just as you thought this Knicks team would hit their rhythm, big win in Philadelphia, you're saying to yourself, like, I hope they don't kind of replicate what happened when they played Milwaukee, then they lost to Detroit, then it's like a back and forth affair right now. This game pretty much, look, the Knicks are 2-4 in their last 6 home games. So the home cooking, they're not cooking. This Knicks team is not cooking right now at home. They are not cooking. 2-4 in their last 6 home games. 3-6 in their last 9 games. Inconsistent, no cat, but this team just doesn't look right now. Doesn't look right. And look, this game in the first half was back and forth. Actually, a pretty fun watch. In the first half, injuries. Josh Hart went down. Cam Payne, we'll talk about him. Man, oh man. I thought tonight, what's going on, everybody in the chat? I see you all in the chat. I thought tonight was a bad coaching game. Bad coached game from you New York Knicks. I thought it was a bad coached game from Tom Thibodeau. Cam Payne had 15 points in 4 minutes. And an incredible first half. Probably his best half of his career. And Tom Thibodeau waited until the 10 minutes to get him back in the game in the third quarter. I even tweeted on the Knicks Nation page, Tom Thibodeau, you cannot let Cam Payne ride the bench the entire third quarter and then get him in the fourth quarter. He pretty much did that. Now Cam Payne came in the game with like 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. I thought this was a terrible coached game by Tom Thibodeau. On his birthday, by the way. Yeah. Just bad. I thought it was bad. The matchup-wise, the defensive matchups weren't great. Possession there in the fourth quarter where Brunson and Anunoby switched that led to a wide open 3 for Minnesota that kind of sealed the deal. You're wondering why the heck are they switching? I thought today was a bad coach game from this Knicks team from Tom Thibodeau. Daniel, what's going on? Appreciate you in the chat. Dis Rover, sup? What's going on? Another day, another Thibs coaching disaster class. Knicks 100 GM. I don't want to hear no excuses about we was tired. Thibs was gifted an L on his B-Day. Thibs don't know how to run an offense or develop a bench. Vibe says Thibs cost us the game. Nostalgic, what's going on, man? Appreciate you in the chat. Tendrell says Thibs is trying to get fired. Thibs disappointed himself tonight. You see the frustration in the chat. You see the trends here. The trends. This Knicks team in the second quarter was propelled by Cam Payne. He brought energy. He brought excitement when this Knicks offense was stagnant. And in that third quarter where this Knicks offense was non-existent. I know Minnesota only scored 18 points too. The terrible quarter for both teams. You needed a spark. This man Cam Payne only played 13 minutes. Make it make sense, ladies and gentlemen. Make it make sense. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I really am. The guy scored 18 points in 13 minutes, 15 points in 4 minutes. And I know that you're trying to match up with the Minnesota Bigs, right? You're trying to match up with the Minnesota Bigs. But that doesn't, just because they go big doesn't mean you have to as well. Just because Minnesota's huge doesn't mean you got to go big. And Thibs tried to Precious Achiuwa Jericho Sims lineup. Jericho Sims was bad tonight. Didn't deviate from his plan. Precious 36 minutes tonight, mainly due to the fact that he was running around guarding, trying to stay in front of Naz Reid, who once again magged that ball, right? This Knicks team can't defend a three. They just can't defend a three. Naz Reid 6 of 6 from three tonight, guys. 6 of 6 from three. It's a trend. These are trends that are bad right now for this Knicks team. They can't defend a three. They're getting confused on pick and rolls. And Anthony Edwards was probably his best game of the season with 36 and 8 of 13 from three. And he started this game 0-4, I think 5 to start this game. Julius Randle wasn't even looking to score this game. And you sent a double team at him in the fourth quarter. And I'm like scratching my head like, dude, the dude is not even looking at the basket. The dude is not even looking at the hoop. And I know you got Brunson on him and you're sending a double team, but I thought tonight was a bad coach game. Bad coach game, man. And it started in that third quarter where you needed a boost. You went, again, you wait too long. You wait too long, Tom Thibodeau, to go to your bench. It's a trend. It's a trend. And I'm even seeing things before they develop. It's a trend now. So frustrating game, frustrating loss. But look, Brunson 9 of 23, Hart 3 of 12, hurt his shoulder there. Hopefully he's okay. Jericho Sims with a bad game after a good game in Philly. And Anunoby, say what you want. I know at times in the first half especially, it looked really awkward offensively for OG Anunoby, but tonight he was picking his spots and he played efficiently. 5 of 10, 3 of 6 from 3, 10 boards, 18 points. So I know at times it does look awkward for Anunoby, even dribbling the ball, but ever since he fell on that elbow, it seems like that elbow is definitely bothering him. And look, someone said it on X, I'd rather be worried about OG Anunoby in May rather than in January. He's played a lot of games. I think this is the most he's ever gone without, sitting. So, players are starting to hit, There's a reason why this Knicks team in the fourth quarter, their rating it's not good. Their rating is bad. There's a reason to that. And, you got to point to the dead legs. There's a reason why their rating in the fourth quarter is extremely low. Their offensive rating, their defensive rating is extremely low. Frustrating, man. Frustrating. See you guys in the chat. Let's go. Smash the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Frustrating loss again for you New York Knickerbockers, losing 116 to 99 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is like a Burger King employee talking a steamly shit in the fryer. Thibs ripping the heart out of this team. Payne played 13 minutes. How? I can't. I don't understand it. I don't. The third quarter, I'm sitting there. Even Clyde Frazier's like, Payne, where? And Payne is still on the bench. Cam Payne is still on the bench. That's surprising. The dude was balling out in that second quarter, man. Yeah, you couldn't find any minutes in the fourth. You couldn't close him out in some lineups. I know he's small, Tom Thibodeau. I know you don't want to deviate from your set plan. I know you want to match up with the Timberwolves bigs, but in a game like this, throw all of that stuff out the window, please. When Cam Payne is literally on a heater, the dude can't miss. He played 13 minutes. Couldn't miss. And by the time you put him in the third quarter, it was too late. I see it from a mile away. Guys, what have I been talking about Tom Thibodeau? His rotations have been terrible this whole season. Bad. And look, Knicks are, they're not playing well. They're 27-16 right now, but Thibs' rotations have been bad. They've been bad this year, especially in the second half. When he gets nervous, he flounders. I don't understand it, man. 15 points in 4 minutes, and the dude can't sniff the court in the fourth, like late in the fourth quarter when your offense is kind of like stagnant. But, man, oh, man. Dakota says, them boys tired. Monkey Wrench says, why didn't Cam get back in the game? Exactly. If your plan isn't working, adjust. Pivot, right? Pivot. If your plan isn't working, pivot. If you're seeing that Jericho Sims is having a bad game and he tried to do the two shots he had offensively were two hook shots. The second shot was an isolation shot that he tried. He hit the backboard first, so offense isn't. His basketball IQ is low, Jericho Sims, but he is talented, right? He has the tools, but the basketball IQ isn't there for Jericho. And I look, 3-point defense has continued to be a problem for this team over these like last 10 in the month of January, over these last 10 games, and teams just continue to shoot lights out, man. 22 of 40 from three, 55% from the field. That's unheard of, man. That is ridiculous. And the Knicks didn't crack 100 tonight. 6 of 6 from Naz Reid. He's coming back home. He just got his jersey retired at his high school, so he wants to ball out, and he did. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 2 of 5 from 3. Rob Dillingham even came in and gave them 9 points. And then you got 36 from Ant. Conley started this game hot. Rudy Gobert, I thought he was like whatever in this game. McDaniels gave that little shove to Josh Hart, pushed him into Jericho Sims, so I don't like him for that. And then Julius Randle, didn't look at the basket pretty much the entire night, right? And no tribute for Julius Randle tonight either. Look, they did a tribute during the preseason, but a lot of people were speculating if they were going to do a tribute tonight again. But nothing for Julius Randle. Got a nice ovation from the MSG crowd, but look, guys, it's not looking good right now. And look, the Knicks are still in a good spot, but just as you thought they would hit their rhythm, and just as you thought, I couldn't really get a feel for this game either, right? It's especially in the first half, into the third quarter, you're like, the Knicks look like they're going to pull this one out, but they just couldn't get over the hump. Every time they would make a run, Minnesota would just hit timely threes and just kill their momentum back and forth. I just thought the game plan tonight was terrible. Like, Mikal Bridges, 6 of 17 from the field. Like, I thought you could have ran more stuff for Mikal. I just thought the game plan was off. And I know you're missing Cat, so that kind of throws everything out of whack. But You went to a Jericho Sims presses a Chua lineup for quite a bit, and it's like, why? That's not doing anything for me. That's not doing anything for me. Again, but I know you want to match up with their bigs, but deviate. Deviate from your plan. Just because they go big doesn't mean you have to. Especially when you got someone off the bench on a heater. The dude only played 13 minutes, guys. Cam Payne having his best game of the season in 13 minutes. Please. Make it make sense. Makes you want to pull your hair out, right? All right. Dibs, in his infinite wisdom, swaps his 6'3" red hard backup point guard for his ice cold 6'2" starter point guard in Jalen. You talk about JB. JB 9-23. Yeah, they were throwing. Look, the length was bothering JB tonight and just couldn't really get in a rhythm. And he actually started this game hot, right? In the first quarter, he was excellent for this Knicks team. And you were like, okay, this is going to be one of those Jalen Brunson, master classes, because it started off extremely well for JB. And then, since the first quarter, it just nothing, right? Nothing really since the first quarter. I know he gave you 26 and 5, but even Mikal, I think Mikal only attempted like 5 field goals in the second half. It's just the game plan was just bad, bad. Dibs pivots by lifting his pivot foot, then oh man, I'm not even mad at this game at this point. Once I see how it's going, the first 2 quarters, I get how it's going to go. Sims was not it, and Precious was same. Yeah, this was the game where you needed Precious to kind of score, right? And I've been talking about that a little bit. Like, this was a game where you needed Precious to score because he was open a lot. And, yeah, I don't compare him, but like if he had a 3-point arsenal in his game, I mean, that's a killer. Naz Reid, 66 from 3. So Precious can't stretch the floor. That's not in his game, but it's I honestly don't understand what goes through Dibs' mind. And Deuce gave you 19 minutes, 4 points from him, no threes. So I know Tom Thibodeau wants to match player for player tonight, especially with the Minnesota Timberwolves length, and you got Gobert down low in the paint. And I thought the Knicks did a fairly good job on Gobert too, but it's like the Sims and Precious thing. Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's like, why not just get someone else in there? Like, Huck Poity has a more of an offensive game than Jericho Sims. Or even, hell, Daddy, who's a wing, right? He's a 6'8", 6'9" wing who can stretch the floor a little bit. Because one thing is for sure is that you don't want to play Cam Payne more than 15 minutes on a night where he gave you 18 points in 13 minutes. It's just a lot of head scratching stuff from what we've been seeing from Dibs' rotations. Just a lot. And you would think that he sees a player scorching hot like that he would ride him. He would ride him. And he doesn't. He still doesn't. He still doesn't. Because he's going to point to the defense, right? That's what he's going to point to. 18 points in 13 minutes, yeah, but he was a mismatch on defense. Well, they couldn't guard him. Like, they couldn't guard the man. So that's where you lost me right there, man. That's where you lost me. And even for Jericho Sims to start this game, right? I mean, it was like the first Knicks possession to start this game. Sims turned the ball over, tried to pass it to Mikal Bridges, and he called for a travel. I'm like, oh man, this is how this one's gonna go. So this one is one of those frustrating games that you scratch your head, honestly. Scratch your head, man. Knicks 100 GM says every time Sims was out there, we was scoring. Knicks 100 GM giving Jericho Sims his props tonight. Look, this game was not lost because of Jericho Sims, Knicks 100 GM. I'm just saying, in a game where he played 19 minutes and no points, gave you 2 offensive rebounds, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. I'm just saying you have to pivot from some lineups, man. You got to deviate. And that's not in Tom Thibodeau's cards. Ba. Nostalgic. What's going on, Nostalgic? Tendril. Dun, dun, dun. Got to catch up on these comments. Appreciate every single one of you guys in here, man. Our offense stalls without Sims. I don't know why people can't see this from Knicks 100 GM. Loud and Clear says Deuce has not progressed the way we all hoped he would. Have to admit that. I thought he'd be in the running for 6-man, but he just hasn't looked great. And look, the frustrating part about this Knicks team, guys, right now is that it's hot and cold. One game they're great, next game they're bad. One game they're great, next game they're bad in this stretch. And you bring up Deuce, great game versus Philly. I came in excited. Like, okay, this is the Deuce McBride. He's back, but, you know, he played 19 minutes, 2 of 6 from 3. I think that the game flow just, look, Payne came in and was shooting the lights out, so the game flow just wasn't in Deuce's favor, if you want to say that. But 0-4 from 3. But, yeah, 4 points, 1 steal for Deuce. He went 8-man again. You know, Precious with 36 off the bench, and it's just the defense right now that's killing them, the three-point defense especially. The lack of rotations, and the Knicks struggle against these long teams, these lengthy teams. And you got Minnesota, you know, Conley only played 25 minutes, but when they had lineups with Nickeil Alexander-Walker out there, Naz Reid out there with McDaniels, Randall, Ant, and Gobert, that's length. And when you got JB on the court, you try to hide him as much as possible on the defensive end, but, you know, teams are going to take advantage on that from, and the Knicks just couldn't stop them. And when a team comes into MSG, it's another game where a team shoots lights out. I mean, you look at this number, it's baffling. 22 of 40 from 3 from the Minnesota Timberwolves. 55% from 3. It's baffling. That's a insane shooting night. And look, most of those threes are open, right? I mean, I know Naz Reid. Horace, thank you for the subscription. I know Naz Reid, 6 of 6. And look, I think 2 of those Naz Reid threes were like back-baking threes. You're like, damn. And they were from like 2 or 3 feet behind the three-point line. He was feeling it, man. He was feeling it. He had a great game for them. And then Ant with the 8 threes. And it just kept compiling out for this Knicks team. And they just couldn't get over the hump offensively. But they gave you 38 second quarter points, 19 in the third, 21 in the fourth. And again, you're searching for offense, and you got a guy right here who was red hot. Cam Payne, 13 minutes, 18 points. It's honestly insane that he didn't play more. It's insane. And this drop that this Knicks team plays, man, it's a problem. The pick and roll defense, the drop stuff. I mean, Timberwolves are getting to anything they wanted. And they were shooting the lights out, and the Knicks just couldn't combat that the way their offense was tonight. And look, Timberwolves, you know, they haven't been playing well defensively pretty much all season long. But they were making it havoc for JB, especially in the second half. And, you know, we just couldn't get over the hump. after that. So El Figgy says Cam was the only reason the game was close going into the half. Yeah, man. Cam Payne, man. Knicks 100 GM says Cam Payne is tricky. If you let him, he will also shoot you out of game. Knicks 100 GM, if you let him, he would shoot you out of game. But if it wasn't for Cam Payne, you wouldn't have even been in this game. Right? You wouldn't have even been in this basketball game if it wasn't for Cam Payne. He came in the second quarter hot. And I tweeted it on the Knicks Nation pad. I said, I even have evidence. I said, Tom Thibodeau cannot wait so long to sub back in Cam Payne. You cannot ice him out. Because the reason why I tweeted that is because it's been a trend for Tom Thibodeau. Even versus Philly, came in, hit 2 threes in 5 minutes. You didn't see him the rest of the game. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why Thibs just doesn't ride with Payne, but it's frustrating. In a game like tonight where Payne was just simply on fire, 15 points in 4 minutes, unheard of. NBA Jam stuff. Ball is on fire. The hoop looked like a freaking hula hoop to Cam Payne tonight. And in the third quarter, Tom Thibodeau waited 10 minutes to put him back in the game. 10 minutes to put him back in the game. On a night where you only dropped 99 points and you needed an offensive spark, and you got an offensive spark. Appreciate you, Nostalgic. Appreciate you. This Rover says, I hope if Thibs puts on the film, if he ever puts the film on the first place, he should point to himself being a dummy. Gorilla, yes, if Thibs drop, it's Thibs. Drop coverage. That's the problem, and that's why so many open, wide threes. To start, they were attacking JB. They were finding JB, attacking him. They were look, credit to the Timberwolves. They had actions for everything. They had pivots for everything. In that fourth quarter, JB and Anunoby switched on a possession. That's why Julius Randle got the ball. Ant sought it out, gave Randle the ball. Knicks sent a double team at Julius Randle, which you're scratching your head. You're like, I know Randle was a good scorer, but if you read the game, right, if you kind of look at the box score, Randle wasn't looking at the basket tonight. He wasn't looking at the basket. He didn't want to be the butt of any joke. Randle did not want to be the butt of any joke, win or lose. 6 assists from Randle, 7 rebounds, wasn't looking at the basket. You send a double team, and then that leads to a wide open 3 from, I think it was Nickeil Alexander-Walker who hit it, and you're just sitting there like, bad coaching. And look, it lies on the players too. OG Anunoby can't do it all. And you can see him out there getting frustrated too. And they're going through a bad defensive funk right now. And it just happens to be in an area where if a team gets hot, you're going to lose. If a team gets hot from 3, you're going to lose. Right? So the perimeter defense hasn't been there. Nick Yak, we know what's missing is defense and the better pick and roll defender in the league, Mitchell Robinson. Yuri, tell me how we can have Cam Payne in the first half and never see him at all. Yeah, you didn't see him at all until late in the third quarter, man. El Figgy says Thibs likes who he likes, and as a fan, I can't wrap my head around it. He wants to give Deuce and Sims minutes over Cam and Hukporti. Yeah. Yuri says, now I'm at a crossroads. I want Thibs to get fired, and at the same time, I don't. Oh, man. Look, no Cat, so it was going to be no Cat, but the home cooking, they haven't been cooking, man. I mean, they've lost 2. They're 2-4 in their last 6 home games, 3-6 in their last 9 games, right? And they're in a funk right now. And look, no Cat these last 2 games. You hope that thumb injury isn't as severe. Got a chip in the thumb, so you hope that he's okay and can get healthy and get back on the court. Now, Josh Hart got hurt tonight and he was dealing with a shoulder situation, but he's a warrior and he came back in the game. And you saw him frustrated at the end of the game. No goodbyes from Josh Hart. Beeline straight to the locker room. Walk right past Randall. Beeline. He's upset, but he's been incredible. That's what brings me back to my coaching point. I think the Knicks can do a better job in these games if Thibs did a better job with his substitution patterns and with his schemes. That's just my opinion. Once again, I'm just a guy with a mic. But I thought Tom Thibodeau, this was a badly coached game from him. And I just can't. I keep looking at the box score and I don't understand the Payne thing. I don't. It's like I do because I know what's in Tom Thibodeau's mind. I know what goes through his mind. Minnesota's running Nas Reed and Rudy Gobert out there, right? So Thibs, in his mind, he wants to match that with Precious, Jericho, which he did. And, of course, he's going to play Brunson, 36 minutes for Brunson, 38 for Hart. So he's not going to find minutes for Payne because he has to match their bigs. That's what's going on in his mind. He has to match their bigs. But why? Like, why? Match Nas Reed. I ain't worried about Gobert. I'm not. He's not an offensive threat at all. He's a presence down low, good defender, defensive player in the year award winner in this league, but the game plan was just off tonight, man. It was just off. Badly schemed game, badly coached game, and the patterns, man. He doesn't deviate, He doesn't deviate. And like I said earlier, guys, it's come out. Somebody tweeted it. I think it was a Knicks reporter tweeted that in the fourth quarter, the Knicks' offensive rating and defensive rating are bad. And guys, there's a reason to that, right? There's a reason to that. There's a reason why their ratings in the fourth quarter takes a hit. It's because in the third quarter, Thibs doesn't sub his bench in on time. The patterns are all screwed up. Come fourth quarter, guys don't have it, man. They don't have it. That's crunch time, man. You want you guys to be fresh, right? You want you guys to be fresh. And it just seems like in these losses, tonight wasn't in crunch time, but in these losses that we've been having, the crunch time, they've been bad. And I know people don't want to hear the quiet, the tired excuse. But if you're not going to utilize your subs right, if you're not going to utilize your substitution patterns in a way to kind of, mask that, if you're not going to play freaking Cam Payne more than 13 minutes when he dropped 18 points, 4 or 5 from 3, was one of your best players tonight, over 15 minutes a game, you don't deserve to win. You don't deserve to win. He didn't really sniff the game in the second half. I'm gonna get his minutes pulled up right now in the second half. Cam Payne is what I'm talking about. 13 minutes, right? Four minutes in the second half. 4 minutes from your best shooter tonight in the second half. Doesn't make sense. Wolves hit 58% of threes, some from 30 feet. Is the difference tonight? Yeah, Nick Yak. They were, especially Naz Reid, man. Naz Reid was killing them. He didn't miss. He was 6-6 tonight from three. That's incredible. 8-11 from the field, 6-6 from three, 2 offensive rebounds. Look, he's from the area, man. And anytime guys come home, got his jersey retired in his high school, you saw the Minnesota Timberwolves, so go over there and support him. He wanted to ball out, and credit to him. Nick Yak says, with Mitch, we don't need to drop as much and get some extra possessions with rebounds. Can't wait for that, Nick Yak, man. Can't wait for that, honestly. Nostalgia says OG is beefing with the roommates. Cat is the most valuable player. Andios, what's going on? Appreciate you in the chat, bro. This team doesn't know how to guard the three-point shot anymore. Every time we lose it, it seems like a bench player from the other team kills us from three. What's going on, Andios? Yeah, it's true, right? It's true. In these losses, let's look tonight. Naz Reid off the bench, 6-6 from three, and Naz Reid is more like the Timberwolves have been closing with Naz Reid, so he's on the bench, but he's in a lot of their closing lineups. And look, there's a reason why he's gonna be competing for Sixth Man of the Year at the end of the year. It's because he's good, and there's a reason why some Timberwolves fans want him to start over Julius Randle. It's because he's good. Right? This OKC game, you had, I think, Aaron Wiggins shoot lights out. The Chicago game, you had Kobe White, 9 of 11 from three. Jalen Smith, 2 of 6 from three. So it's a trend, right? It's a trend. The Orlando game, You didn't defend the three. Wendell Carter Jr., 3 of 3 from three, and he was a 20% three-point shooter off the bench. Jonathan Isaac, 1 of 1 from three. Cole Anthony came in 3 threes. Trend. Right? OKC, you had the other guy off the bench. I mean, OKC is a machine. They can literally sign someone tomorrow, and he'll drop 10 threes. Detroit, Cade was killing you because you had no legs in the fourth quarter. And tonight, Naz Reid killed you, and Ant killed you. So in these losses, man, you're not defending the three. And like I said, in a league where the three is becoming extremely popular shot, that's a problem, man. That's a problem. And you went from 24-10 to start January to now 27-16, right? So you came into this stretch, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to go 3-3, 4-2? Well, since the OKC game, this Knicks team has the hardest schedule in the league. I think they're tied with someone else, and they are now 2-3 in this stretch, with a game versus Atlanta on Monday, and you don't even know how they're going to respond on Monday. And you figured that they wanted to get Cat extra rest tonight because Karl-Anthony Towns didn't play on Wednesday. So he played Monday versus Detroit. So he had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that gives Cat 6 days to rest until the Atlanta game because you don't play again until Monday. But you don't know which team shows up in that game. And the last time, the Hawks are 2-0 against you this year. 2-0 against you this year. So you could quickly go 2-4 in this stretch, and it's like, damn. I mean, that's not good, man. That's not good. And it stinks because the Philly game was, I know you had that problem in the fourth quarter. You balled out in overtime. You played extremely well in overtime. You almost gave that game away. God forbid you gave that one away. Whew. That would have been bad. Nostalgia says, thank goodness Cat is on this team. Would have been a lottery team if Randall and JB paired together. We wouldn't have been a lottery team. Nostalgic. Jaw Skillful, what's going on? I appreciate you in here. Like I said before, Mitch will help greatly with defense, but he will not be a silver bullet for all of our current issues. Something has to change with our team on a more fundamental level. Well said, Jaw Skillful. I think it's just they got to get back to the fundamentals, man. They got to get back to, I just feel like the juice is gone. Like, the juice isn't there. I mean, I know in Philly it looked good, but, ever since the 9-game winning streak, they've just been kind of floundering a little bit. Kind of searching, right? And, Hart had those comments, and you're kind of figuring out what's going on. You hope nothing's going on in the locker room. And, it's January, so guys are tired. They're playing a lot of minutes. Leading the league in minutes per game. Mikel's still leading the league in minutes. They're bad. They're becoming bad in the fourth quarter now because of that. Dibbs is not deviating from his substitution patterns. Not playing a guy who's scorching hot. It's just a multitude of things, right? It's a multitude of things. It's not just one thing, which is kind of like concerning a little bit. But I know you had no Cat tonight, but I thought if Tom Thibodeau like schemed his way, he could have schemed his way to a victory. And I know that sounds kind of like cliche and easy, but I just thought tonight he just didn't coach well at all. At all. Here's Isaiah Joe's points since he dropped 31 against us. 7, 10, 12 in his 4 games before that. 8, 6, 7, 9. It's always us, this Rover. Yeah. It's always us, man. It's always us. Nick Yak, fans giving up? When we were playing without our 2 7-footers, like, that doesn't matter. Nick Yak, no one's giving up, man. We ain't giving up, Obviously, when Mitch comes back, that'll be a huge boost to this offense. And look, maybe that's just the solution. And I think that will solve a lot of our defensive problems. I do. But, no Cat tonight. But, it's just the thing is, if it's no Cat, then go to someone else. Like, try to get someone else in there that can give you a spark. No Cat. So play some Hukportian spurts. Play, I don't know. Maybe play Cam Payne more than 13 minutes. It's just, it's Nick Yak. I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, we can still be winning these games if this game got coached better, in my opinion. So, sky's not falling, though. Sky's not falling. We're still in a good spot, but, obviously I do a post games and I have to react to every game. So yeah. I'll be there on Monday. I can smell Carnegie's already. You'll be there on Monday. Hope you enjoy yourself loud and clear, man. Hopefully that's a good win for this team. I'm marking Hawks as an L. Come on now. Let's have some faith. This Rover says Thibs' fundamentals is clog the paint and pray the other team misses their team. Something is off. I'm not sure what happened, but something is off. That's kind of how I feel. Wrench built, that's kind of how I'm feeling. I don't want to feel like that, but it feels like something's off. It does. And look, Anunoby, ever since he fell on that elbow, right? It's just ball slipping out of his hands. Can't really get a grip on the basketball. Tonight, I thought, picking his spots, efficient, hit his threes tonight. He's only one man on defense. He can't really do it all. But Timberwolves had a great game plan, getting Anunoby off of, Ant and getting, different mismatches. But, yeah, that's how I feel, too. That's how I feel, too. Oh, yeah, Atlanta got our number this year. It's going to be an L if can't play. L Figgy says, what's going to happen now? is in the later half of the season, all these teams under us are going to start stacking up wins, and we'll be jostling for the 4 through 8 seed in the Eastern Conference. Look, tough loss. You've lost. Now you're 2-4 in your last 6 home games. You've lost 3 of 6 in your last 9 games. You're 3-6 in your last 9 games. So you're looking at that, and that's not good. Can't guard the 3 right now. You know, the defensive sets, the defensive, you know, it's bad. You know, the guarding the 3 is bad right now. And you're looking at it like, look, Minnesota, you know that they wanted some revenge. They came in and got it. You know, you smoked them in Minnesota last month. They came in and beat you. Okay. You're probably not going to see them for the rest of the year. The only time you'll see them is in the NBA Finals. Detroit, bad loss. OKC, terrible loss. Orlando, bad loss. Chicago, bad loss. OKC, you know, that's the game where I won it, and we had that game. So you come into this, you look at it one or two ways. You know, you take the broader picture, you take the zoom out approach, and you're like, look, the Knicks are 27-16. There's a reason why, you know, we're 11 games over 500. We're still in a good spot in the Eastern Conference. That sounds good, but, you know, you'll be lying to yourself if you don't think that there's still room to improve, and this team needs, you know, to improve in certain areas. And I know they've been without Cat, and he's been a huge part of our success this season. Mitchell Robinson will clean up a lot. But right now, Mitchell Robinson's not on the court, man. It seems like every update is like, first it was like January, then it's late January, now it's early February, and it's like, bro. So that's frustrating. But he will help a lot. You know, he will help a lot. But, you know, the frustrating thing is, you know, you had those 9 wins. You were on this 9-game winning streak. Everyone was poo-pooing the 9-game winning streak. All the naysayers were like, you can't beat good teams. Look who you're beating. Yada, yada, yada. We'll see how you look in January heading into February when your schedule gets tough. And the schedule has gotten tough. And this Knicks team hasn't played well. So that's why people are upset, and that's why people are frustrated. I wouldn't say they're upset. I would say it's more frustration because it's an 82-game season, right? It's an 82-game season. Tomorrow is a new day. We're going to wake up, you know, be prepared for Atlanta. We win versus Atlanta with 12 games over 500. So, but just tonight, it was just, I thought, badly coached game, bad substitution patterns, and Tom Thibodeau, I think, dropped the ball tonight. I do. That's just my opinion. But you got Atlanta, Brooklyn, Sacramento, who's been playing well ever since they fired their coach. Memphis, who I think is a second seed in the Western Conference, if I'm not mistaken. Denver, the Lakers, Houston. No, Houston's the second seed in the Western Conference, excuse me. Toronto, who just beat Boston. Boston, Indiana, who's playing well. Atlanta again. So, guys, it don't get easy. It's not easy, man. The only easy game I see on here is Brooklyn. This is the only game that I'm counting as a W right now. You know? And I'm chalking up as a W. But Atlanta's going to be tough. Sacramento's going to be tough. Memphis tough. Denver tough. It's not easy, this road. And so far, in the month of January, they've started in a funk. And I think they will snap out of it once they get Mitch back, once they get Cat back. But we just have to watch that Cat injury, man. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Nicky Axe says Minnesota is a good team. We lost 2, and we're missing 2 out of our 8 players. The 2 tallest. Watch Cam get hot again against the Hawks and then get benched for JB. We'll proceed to get locked. Nick Yak, the reason why I'm upset, Nick Yak, and I understand that you could chalk this up to, look, we're missing Cat, we're missing Mitchell Robinson. They didn't have Dante. But the reason why, which is why I open up this post game, Nick Yak, with frustration, is because you had Cam Payne shooting the lights out and you played him 13 minutes, man. It's just, it just, that's the reason why I'm upset. In a game where you're searching for offense, and guys are struggling, and Bridges kind of got iced out in the second half. Brunson 9-23, Josh Hart 3-12, 1-5 from three. In a game, Precious 3-10, couldn't hit anything. In a game where you're searching for offense, McBride 0-4. You played Cam Payne 13 minutes. So yeah, you can kind of look at this and be like, yeah, we're missing Cat and Mitchell Robinson. But Mitchell Robinson hasn't been here all year. So I mean, I'm not even gonna factor that in. Cat is a huge part, obviously, but this game could have been won. El Figgy says, we haven't been the same since we ran out of steam in the fourth quarter. In that first OKC game, we lost our mojo. The realistic approach, we are 27-17 with a lot more bad losses than quality wins. Yeah, it's a good way to put it. But it's an 82-game season, so that can happen. And, that does happen sometimes. And I think the quality wins I think it will balance itself out. I do. But now you're starting to see them. You looked at the schedule in the month of January, and you said, look, they got a lot of home games. They don't hop on a plane until February. And they just haven't. I know the injuries have, kind of taken a toll, and they just haven't taken advantage of MSG in the past 6 games. 2-4 in their last 6 home games. So, the 6-man MSG just they just haven't taken advantage of it. And look, their rating is bad in the fourth quarter. You can look at that one of two ways. They're tired, they got dead legs, or, they got to work on their schemes. I think it's a little bit of both. But, when you look at the statistics, when you got good ratings, offensive rating, defensive rating, offensive rating, 1, 2, 3, like your first 1 through third quarter, and then the fourth quarter it dips. That's a sign for concern. And you point to dead legs. And it's normal. It happens. But all we've been seeing lately is a minutes this, minutes that, minutes this, minutes that. And, frustrating loss, man. Yeah, Andre, what's going on, man? Frustrating Knicks loss. Appreciate you in the chat. Bad coaching, but Leon not gonna fire his bestie, Tom Thibodeau, from Bovedon in the chat. I don't think that's the answer. I don't think that's the answer. Look, Thibs on his birthday couldn't get a victory. Happy birthday, Tom Thibodeau. And hopefully he said, I'm not happy unless I'm miserable. That's an exact quote from Tom Thibodeau. So it's loud and clear. You hear a lot of Knicks fans don't like him. And a lot of Knicks fans, especially after tonight, I'm on the timeline right now. Let me screen share the timeline so I can show you guys what I'm looking at. No gas left in the tank in the fourth. Terrible defense as usual. Can't function offensively without Cat. Fired Tom Thibodeau. Trade Jericho Sims. Trade Adrian Anobi. Trade Pessis Achua. So this is reactionary Twitter coming out, right? I tweeted, so what happened tonight? Let it all out. Somebody tweeted the minutes, and then somebody circled Cam Payne with 13 minutes, and it's stupid. Stupid. It's baffling. Honestly. Just an undermanned regular season loss. Moving on. Just look at the comments, man. Sometimes you lay an egg. Unfortunately, I was right. Obviously, we miss Towns, but our coach is a problem. The Knicks get killed by threes almost every game because Thibs thinks it's more important to protect the paint than prevent the three. Also, him barely playing Payne in the second half was crazy. Thibs didn't stagger McCullum Brunson and ran the worst possible lineups. I agree. Tom Thibodeau's substitution patterns this year have been terrible. And you guys can vouch, like I've been saying it all season long. And somebody said it early in the chat. Yeah. He'd rather protect the paint. Even I said it. He'd rather especially tonight, matched up with the Minnesota Timberwolves bigs than go small. He has a plan in his head, and he will not deviate. That's it. In-game adjustments. That's what we talk about, right? In-game adjustments. Where are the in-game adjustments? Where are the in-game adjustments? More worried about Edie on the Grizzlies and size that team has against 6'10 Sibs and 6'8 Precious with our 6'7 power forward. Size matters in basketball. Hey, now, size matters. This Rover, shout out to the fan that bombed the half-court shot for the car. At least someone in New York won tonight. Love that, this Rover, man. Shout out to him, man. Let me show that video. Shout out to the fan, man. Shout out to the fan. This was the video. Bombing the half-court shot. Splat. All net, too, by the way. Shout out to him. One hand. Just coming from the tattoo shot. Bombing away, winning a Kia. Would you look at that, man? That was from more than half court, too. Look where he took off. Okay, sir. All net, man. At least someone won tonight. But, yeah. Just go back to the drawing board, right? Hot and cold. This team has been hot and cold for the better part of January. And you win one, you lose one. You win one, you lose two. You thought they were going to have a great coming out party after the Philadelphia 76ers game. You thought they were going to build some momentum. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. You got beat in MSG again. You got another opportunity on Monday versus the Hawks, who you should want some revenge with. Last time you saw the Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young rolled the dice on your logo. On your logo. The Hawks are 2-0 against you this year. You got some days off. You got the weekend to reset. You got Saturday. You got Sunday. They haven't had 2 days off in a while, by the way. So if any team needs 2 days off, it's the Knicks. So hopefully we can get Cat back on Monday and just reset this thing. So, yeah, do-rag stayed on too. Was he wearing one or was that a snapback? Get him a jersey and put him out there. Bro, get this man a jersey, man.
Here we go.
Yo, shout out to him, man. Shout out to him. This was the play I was talking about with watch JB and OG Anunoby. So they switch right here, and that leaves Jalen Brunson on Julius Randle, right? Anthony Edwards notices that. He points it out. He says, Randle get in the post. Because if JB stayed on, I think this was Nickeil Alexander-Walker, there probably would have been a double pick here, and Ant would have went to the side for Jalen Brunson. And, you know, it would have been a mismatch on Ant and Jalen Brunson.
Especially
but
against
Ant realizes that, tells Randle to post Brunson up.
Edwards, after a slow
Knicks
start, has been just
double team Julius Randle, who, once again, wasn't looking at the basket all game long. Randle makes a good pass, wide open three. It's just situations like this, he's wide open. That's a wide open three. Catch and shoot stuff. And that was happening all night. So just credit to the Timberwolves for adjusting and yeah. Yeah. Huck Porty was on the bench while Precious and Sims had no effort or energy. Look, one thing is clear is that Knicks don't think Huck Porty's ready. Whether you agree with it, whether you don't agree with it, Knicks don't think Huck Porty is ready. Knicks don't think Paco Daddier is ready. And it's frustrating watching, you know, Ryan Dunn do great things in Phoenix. Rookie playing extremely well. A guy who the Knicks were touting. A guy who this Knicks team wanted to draft. And I don't want to go down that path. But, you know, hey, I'm not going to blame Daddier because we don't see him play. right? And you're not going to learn anything unless you're on the court. And look, the Knicks are grooming them behind the scenes. They're getting them ready. And they're, practicing. They're getting run in the G League. But, the problem is when Karl Anthony Towns goes out, Thibodeau doesn't replace him with a Porty or a Daddier. When Deuce is out, Thibs doesn't go to Kolek, right? He doesn't do that. He doesn't play Cam Payne more. That's the frustrating part. That's the frustrating part. All right, guys, this was a tough loss. Subscribe. As always, smash the like button. I'll be back on Sunday evening doing a post-game. Look out for a video on Saturday as well regarding the New York Knicks. So Sunday evening, doing a podcast, at 9:30. Chris will be back. We'll be doing a podcast, 9:30. Trivia's back. All that good stuff. Have a good weekend. I'll see you on Sunday. It's Let's Go Knicks. Peace.